What's up, guys? My name is Michael Kane. I'm the new team member here at Premier Fitness Systems. I am a doctor of physical therapy, performance specialist specializing in golf and other rotational sports, as well as a manual therapist. So today I'd like to talk about a system developed by a great physical therapist. His name's Greg Cook. It's called the 3 R's. So the 3 R's consist of resetting, reinforcing, and reloading the system. So to kind of back that up and show how you can bring a fitness solution to like a golf issue, there's a really good article up on the TPI website, Titleist website, talking about Jason Day and how he has this great ability to load into his right side and create so much torque and pressure on that right hip. Now that's, after a lot of people, we can all jump to our right side, but can we stay inside that hip and not come out of the posture of doing it? So today I'm going to show you 3 steps we can take to see if we can increase that ability. So the first thing, me being a manual therapist, I like to be a little more directed with my approach or my treatment. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to try to reset the pattern. So when we talk about resetting the pattern, is we're basically trying to put new input into the nervous system. Basically, so the nervous system says like, oh, I'm free to move into this specific area. So I'm going to use Brandon here as an example. And so I'll have Brandon go ahead and stand up for me. And what we see here oftentimes is, we're going to look at, for me, I'm going to look at the myofascial system. The fascia is where the money's at. That's where all the spindles are. That's where the central nervous system really integrates and talks to that area of our body. So, everyone's going to have, a lot of people are going to have restrictions into their right hip when they turn in their hip. But what we'll see oftentimes is we can hammer away at this hip all day, but we're still leaving something on the table. So that's what I would do with Brandon. You could lay him down, you put your elbow in there, kind of move everything around, get all the fascia to get loosened up. But another important thing is we want to look at this sort of diagonal or spiral line. We want to look up into the rib cage, up into the areas up here. And very often, if you're digging in this area, you'll find uncomfortableness in some of these real specific areas where we have basically what's called centers of coordination, where fascia runs together and gets sticky so that you may have good internal rotation in the hip, but you can't open up or turn because of a restriction here, or even in the abdominals as well. So there's multiple ways to get at it. You can foam roll this, you can do other things as well. That stuff is not quite as specific, so I need to be a bit more specific with that. So once we reset the system, it's time to integrate that new pattern. So you have all this sort of extra range of motion now. It does us no good. Basically, it'll be gone within 5-10 minutes unless we integrate some sort of stability pattern within that range of motion. So what I'm going to have here is we're going to use this kettlebell here. I'm going to have Brandon get on both knees. He's going to go into a tall kneeling position like so. So let's have to face this direction. There you go. So Brandon's in a tall kneeling position here. He's going to put his feet together like so, toes down. So we don't want to use we want to dig the toes down. We want to leave the feet in that position. This is a really good position for this because it forces him to use small stabilizers. You can't use your big hip flexors. You can't use the big dominant muscles to stabilize here. Otherwise, we'll see him moving into some funky patterns. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get the kettlebell behind him here. I'm going to tell him to keep his shoulders down, so we don't want him to tug up and pull up on that area there. Otherwise, it defeats the purposes of everything we're trying to do. And then from here, I'm going to have Brandon slowly turn his head to the right, and he's going to turn into that hip. So just like he'd be doing his golf swing. So the important thing here is he's keeping a nice level pelvis. He's turning through his thoracic spine, and he's taking nice deep breaths right down here to calm the system, letting him know that this is an okay position to be in. He's going to come back to the center. And we're going to try to go to the left here real quick. So we're working on a closed chain hip internal rotation. We're teaching the body how to turn into that hip without coming out of the posture. And I'm going to have him come back to the center one more time. And now I'm going to take the bell from him. I'm going to have Brandon come up into what's called a tall kneeling position. So he's going to be just like so. So the tall kneeling is important. Again, we want no toe in the ground with the toe nice and relaxed here. I want to force him to be able to integrate this hip here. Say nice and tall once again. Weight is going to be into this hip. And we're going to hold the bell one more time behind us here. And now we're going to force him to turn. We're going to have him turn into this right hip right here. Keeping this leg right over the top of the toe. Very good. So basically, Brandon is turning into that hip with a little bit of load, a little bit of weight. The nervous system respects weight. It doesn't respect passive, easy motion. If you want to keep range of motion that you've developed over time, you need to add a little bit of force into it. And that's what we're seeing here. Nice shoulders down, nice and stacked. Have him turn one more time into that. And just breathe. So he should feel like he's getting a lot of stability. He's got to use that backside hip to control the stability. And you can see Brandon's a big, strong guy, and he's a little wobbly here. So it's a good position for him to be in. His nervous system is integrating all this information, ton of learning going on there. So, this can be done for 4 or 5 minutes back and forth. What you'll start feeling after a while is your legs get a little wobbly, shoulders get a little tired, but that's all good. Those are small, stabilizing muscles that are coming back into picture. We're getting them to fire. We're going to shut off the big boys and let the smaller guys take over. So then, the best part of all this is, so we reset the pattern, we reinforce the pattern, now we want to reload it. That's what everyone's favorite thing is. We want to throw something and throw it hard. So what we can do here is the same idea. Is Brandon's going to take, we're going to do basically red ball rotational throw. So he's going to step back into that hip, make sure he's really loading in that hip, staying in his posture well, and fire through, sequencing properly. Yep. One more time. Just go ahead and cut it loose. Perfect. So that's part where we took all the pieces together. So we reset the pattern. We reinforced the pattern with some stability exercises to make sure we can stabilize in that area. And then we reloaded the pattern with a little bit of power. So we basically took the whole thing and made it very motor learning rich environment. You're able to do that, and you'll be able to see more, basically longer drives and better stability in that right hip, which will help you transfer energy in the process. Again, thanks for listening. My name is Michael Kay, new team member here at Premier Fitness Systems. Have a good one.